Okay, hi everybody. Welcome to Let's Talk Health Live. I'm Dr. Amanda. I'm a naturopathic doctor, and I host this live health Q&A to answer any health questions that you might have. So today I am using a microphone. I know there was some issues before with being able to hear me, so let me know. Hopefully you can hear me better now with the microphone. Just give me a moment. So just some things I wanted to talk about tonight were some sleep tips. I think I get a lot of questions about sleep, sleep concerns on this channel. So I figured that would be a good one to start with, just going over some sleep tips and recommendations for helping out with sleep. So let me know if you have any difficulty with hearing me. Hopefully it's better tonight. And yeah, we'll get started with talking about some different things for sleep. So some things to keep in mind. We'll talk about supplements. We can talk about supplements. We can talk about herbs and stuff like that. But one thing that's really important for sleep is just having a good sleep structure schedule. So, and healthy sleep tips. Okay, so I see there's a message just that the audio is gold. So great. I'm glad that the audio is working. Good. So if you're just jumping on, hi and welcome. I'm Dr. Amanda. I'm a naturopathic doctor, and I host this live health Q&A to answer health questions. Any health questions about, maybe you have questions about supplements, diet, herbs, vitamins, minerals, whether that even be tests or certain health conditions, let me know. You can leave it in the chat. I'm just going to chat a little bit about sleep tips, but you can ask me anything. It doesn't have to be related to sleep. It's a common thing I ask a lot about, so I figured I'll talk about sleep tonight. But yeah, let me know if there's any other questions that you have. So it's called like sleep hygiene tips or just like a sleep routine tips. You really want to make sure that you have a proper sleep routine in place. That's going to really set your body up for the night, for helping you get into a proper sleep. So one thing that's really good is avoiding any use of screens, electronics, anything that's too stimulating before bed, because you want your nervous system to be relaxed. You want your body to be able to be calm and ready for bed. So avoiding like really scary movies or really stimulating TV shows, anything that's too action packed. And if you can completely avoid screens, that would be great. Read a book, have a cup of tea, listen to music, do something relaxing. So that's a really great tip, to avoid screens and electronics before bed, because it does also interfere with your body's melatonin production. So that artificial blue light we got from our screens can impact our body's own production of melatonin. So that's one thing to keep in mind. The other thing is making sure that you try to go to bed around the same time every night and wake up at the same time every morning. So getting your body into a structured sleep schedule can be very helpful. Our bodies are naturally work on like a good circadian rhythm. So when we switch things up, it can really throw things out of balance. So it's so important for your balance of cortisol and melatonin to go to bed at the same time every night, wake up at the same time every morning, within about 30 minutes difference, or maybe on the weekend pushing it to an hour. But you don't want to be going to bed too much later than you generally do. So those are just some general sleep tips. Okay, let's see if there's any questions or comments. So just some people mentioning, hi, good morning, love from India. Oh, hi, welcome. And then some comments about caffeine and like hot dogs and beer. Yeah, so yeah, probably having caffeine late at night. Actually, a lot of people are very sensitive to caffeine. So even if you might not even feel like you are, but it's recommended to not have caffeine after noon. So like after 12 p.m., because it takes your body some time to metabolize the caffeine, and it can really impact your sleep. So I highly recommend, if you're somebody that has a lot of issue with sleep and you drink caffeine, only have it in the morning. So just stick to it, having it in the morning. Don't have it late in the evening. So that's just something to keep in mind, or even the afternoon. What else? There was a question about what is going on in this chat. I think there's a lot of weird comments happening. Okay. Okay, let's talk about some, supplements and herbs to help with sleep. So, if anybody's just joining us, hi and welcome. I'm Dr. Amanda. I'm a naturopathic doctor. I host this live health Q&A to answer any health questions you have. So, if you have questions about maybe a certain health condition, I got a lot of questions on here about gastrointestinal health conditions. If you have a certain question about a specific supplement, like we talk a lot about magnesium on here, which I'll talk about as well tonight. If you have a certain question about a herb or a test, just let me know in the chat and I'll be able to answer it as best as I can. But for now, I'm just going to talk a little bit about sleep. So we'll go through that. Okay, so I was going to talk about magnesium for sleep. So I know I talk about magnesium a lot on this channel, but it is a really good mineral. It's easily accessible. Like you could probably get it all over the world. So, any country pretty much can have access to magnesium. It's pretty affordable. So most people, can get magnesium maybe for a bottle, $20, $30, pretty affordable. Sometimes even less than that. And it has minimal side effects and it interacts with minimal medications. Of course, if you're on a medication, just double check. But it's one of those supplements that's really easy to take. It's very effective, and like I said, there's just so many benefits to it. So, in terms of magnesium for sleep, usually magnesium glycinate is the one that's recommended. Um, Magnesium glycinate is similar to magnesium citrate. The only thing is it's more gentle on the stomach. So, one thing to note about magnesium, and this is with all forms of magnesium, they can cause a bit of a looser stool. And that's just because the way the magnesium works, it helps bring water into the intestines and then it can help with like making a looser stool. Now with the glycinate, you shouldn't have any sort of diarrhea or upset stomach, but that can happen more with oxide and with the citrate forms. So that's just like one thing to keep in mind. So that's why usually glycinate is preferred over citrate. It is a little bit more expensive. So if you don't have that upset stomach and you want something that's more cost effective, then you can do the magnesium citrate. That's the one that's in that popular brand, like the Calm magnesium. That powder, you'll see it really often recommended for sleep. Sometimes they add other ingredients in there as well, but that's one thing just to keep in mind. Okay, just before I talk a little bit more about magnesium, I just wanted to jump on and say hi and welcome to anybody that's just joining us. I'm Dr. Amanda. I'm a naturopathic doctor. I host this live health Q&A to answer any health questions that you might have. So feel free to drop them in the chat. Let me know if there's any questions about certain health conditions, certain testing, supplements, and I'll be able to answer them for you. And thank you so much for the likes. I do appreciate the likes. It does really help get the video noticed. And if you are not subscribed, be sure to subscribe, join our health community, turn on those notifications so you get notified when I go live again. All right, so some people are just saying hi in the chat. Hi, welcome. Thanks for joining again. There's a comment about hoagies. Not sure what that's talking about in terms of sleep, but that's okay. So we were talking a little bit about magnesium. So the glycinate form. Now with magnesium, you can go anywhere from around like 120 milligrams. It's a pretty common dose to have in a capsule, but you can even go higher. You can do 2 capsules, 3 capsules, so around like 400 milligrams. Some people need that much in order to have the benefits for helping out with sleep. It's also really good for restlessness. If you have restless legs, or if you're just very restless in your sleep, you feel like you're tossing and turning, magnesium is great for calming the muscles down. So the muscles will use magnesium. It helps with relaxing the muscles. It helps your nervous system feel calm. So that's why it's really nice to have it in the evening before bed. Now, you could take magnesium during the day too. There's no issue with that. It shouldn't like just knock you out and make you sleepy. It's not something that works on like making you fall asleep or making you drowsy. But you could take it during the day. But generally, people like taking magnesium in the evening just because that calming effect. So that's just one tip. Magnesium glycinate, 300 milligrams, about that dose before bed. Try to take it about an hour before bed is really good for calming you. That's if you're somebody that just needs help with feeling more relaxed, feeling less restless. Magnesium can help you fall asleep. Now, in terms of helping you stay asleep, usually GABA or melatonin are going to be the better options for that. So, melatonin is a hormone. Your body does produce melatonin. And as I was talking about before, when you look at a lot of blue light, especially in the evening, that can impact your body's melatonin production. So, that's just one thing to keep in mind. But if you did need to take melatonin, I usually suggest only taking this in a very small dose. So maybe 1 milligram, 2 milligrams, and seeing if that works for you. And usually only taking this short term. So I don't suggest doing melatonin long term. The body can come a little bit dependent on it. And you just don't want to take it long term because it can also make you feel more groggy. A lot of people can get night terrors, headaches from it. So it's kind of something I just recommend. Very low dose, short term if you need it. It is a really good antioxidant, so you get that benefit as well. But yeah, that's just one thing to keep in mind about melatonin. There are also like extended release melatonins. So it will, like when you take it, it just, the release of the melatonin in your body from the supplement just gets extended overnight. So that's why those ones can be helpful for helping you stay asleep. All right. Just want to make sure my microphone is there. Okay, and then, okay, so if anybody's just joining us, hi and welcome. I'm Dr. Amanda. I'm a naturopathic doctor. I host this live health Q&A to answer any health questions that you might have. So feel free to drop your questions in the chat, whether that be about certain supplements, vitamins, minerals, health conditions, testing. I'm here to answer it as best as I can. So just drop your questions in the chat. I'm talking a little bit about sleep, but it can really be any type of question you have. And then thank you so much for the likes. I do appreciate that. Does help get the video noticed across YouTube. And then also if if you're new here, be sure to subscribe and join our community. All right. So just some people saying hi. What's a good food to make you sleepy? Yogurt. I wouldn't say yogurt, probably not yogurt. A lot of things that are going to be like hard on the stomach. So anything that's really heavy, high in protein, high in fats, probably best to avoid. It's actually probably better to avoid food too close to going to bed because it can disrupt your body's ability to get into a good restful sleep if your body's thinking about digesting or working on digestion. But there is one thing, there is some connection with like tart cherry juice. So cherry juice, it can help a little bit with melatonin. So in that sense, it might be beneficial, but there's not really anything specifically showing it can, there's a certain food that will help with sleep. So maybe tart cherry juice or tart cherries, that would be the only thing I know off the top of my head. Beer, not beer, tart cherry juice, pure sugar. So you want to get the tart cherry juice. I mean, it still is going to have sugar in it, yes. So if you have blood sugar issues, that's probably not the best, but just in general, having like a juice, maybe having it with your meal. That way it doesn't spike your blood sugar as much. I think there's some questions where I'm from. I'm in California. That's where I am. All right. So, hi, doc. Are you a general physician? So I am a naturopathic doctor. So my focus is on women's health, gastrointestinal health. We use a variety of different therapies like herbs, vitamins, minerals. What else? We do use medications if needed. So like hormone therapy or other types of medications if needed. But generally diet, lifestyle, herbs, and supplements are the things I'm going to recommend. Yeah, so my Instagram, you can find all my socials on my YouTube, but it is Dr. Morelli, which is my last name. So you can find that on my YouTube. Orthopedic technician. No, I'm not at a hospital. I work at a private clinic, so unfortunately, no, I don't have any positions there. All right. So if anybody has any health questions, just feel free to drop them in the chat. I'm just talking a little bit about sleep. I'm just trying to think what else. Oh, let's talk about herbs. So I talked about magnesium, melatonin. Oh, GABA. I was going to talk about GABA. So GABA is a very calming neurotransmitter. So GABA, you can also get that in a supplement form, and it's going to be helpful for allowing you to stay asleep. So you might find sleep products that have a combination of these: magnesium, melatonin, GABA. A combination of these things can be helpful for sleep. So you might want to take the combination supplement, or you might want to take them individually and see what works best for you. So as I said, magnesium is really good for helping you feel relaxed, get you rested, helping you fall asleep easy. GABA and melatonin will help you stay asleep a little bit longer through the night. Now, in terms of herbs, there's a few herbs that can be helpful. So there's valerian root, there's passion flower root, and lavender. So these three herbs are pretty common, pretty similar, and really good for helping. I would say they all kind of work similar. Lavender is great if you have anxiety. So lavender is really good for if you're feeling like nervous or anxious. Lavender can help with anxiety and sleep. Valerian and passion flower are both very similar and just helping you feel a little bit more sleepy and calm. Passion flower is also really good for restlessness and restless legs. So let me just see if there's any other questions, but yeah. So in terms of questions about jobs, unfortunately, I can't, I don't have any information about that. But just maybe asking somebody in your field, or just looking online at different like Indeed, and looking for those, you might be able to find jobs there. Okay, somebody was diagnosed with GERD last year, still have issues with gas and stomach and problem eating hot and spicy foods. Yeah, okay, I've talked a lot about GERD. I have a whole series on GERD and acid reflux on my YouTube channel. So if you are new here and you're not subscribed, be sure to go subscribe. Check out that whole series. I talk about diet, lifestyle, herbs, so many different things for helping out with GERD. Because the thing with GERD is if you're constantly eating things that are triggering it, you're never giving it a chance to kind of cool down. So I would suggest doing like a elimination of the common triggers. So spicy foods, coffee, alcohol, really greasy foods, anything that's very high in fat, like high fat dairy or really fatty meats. These types of things can trigger GERD. So going on about like an 8-week diet of avoiding those foods, and then taking some herbs that are really good for soothing the gastrointestinal tract. So I do talk about this on the series, but just some things to look out for would be like marshmallow root, slippery elm root, licorice root. Those are all really good soothing herbs. So let me know if you had another question, but I do suggest going and look at that series that I have on my channel. What is GORD or GERD? I think you're asking GORD or GERD. Okay. Oh, okay. You're asking what it is. So GERD, GERD, is gastroesophageal reflux disease. It's basically where you have acid reflux that like goes from your stomach into your esophagus, so into your throat area, and then you get like heartburn, and you can have stomach pain, you can have gas. Main symptom is having that reflux and pain. I think that's what you're asking. So let me know if that answers your question. Oh, I definitely have that. Okay, so if you also have that, I would go check out the video series that I have, because it does kind of just walk you through everything. But as I mentioned, the big thing is the dietary triggers, and I actually also talk about like some underlying root causes in there. So like what are some causes of GERD? So I would go and look at that as well. Yeah, it's GERD. Yeah, GERD. I'm having a lot of problem with pimples on my face. They're not going away, and sometimes they leave marks. Can you please tell me the reasons? Just best treatment. So with acne, is it's a very tricky one. There can be so many things that can be contributing to this. So I'll just kind of talk about some of these things. Uh, and I can't really, I don't really know, your specific situation. So maybe, yeah, maybe you should write that down, like write down what I'm going to say. So you can take some notes. So one thing could be hormones. So hormones can play a role with acne. So that can be testosterone, estrogen, and DHEA. Those are going to be the common ones that can potentially cause an increase of those can cause acne. So an increased testosterone, even increased estrogen, these can cause acne. So that's one thing to look at. Another one to look at would be your gut health, your microbiome. So if you have a bacteria like bacterial overgrowth, H. pylori, some sort of issue going on with your gut, it can show up on your face and can show up as acne and other type of skin issues. That's another pretty common cause of acne. The other thing that's kind of related to the gut is food sensitivities. So whether that be common ones or dairy, eggs, these are two pretty common ones that can sometimes cause acne, like whey protein. Again, just looking at your diet and seeing if potentially the acne started when you changed your diet or something else going on. But yeah, usually when we're thinking about acne, it's either hormonal or gut microbiome related. So those are some things to look at. And then in terms of like treatment, well, if it's hormone related, if you have like high testosterone or high estrogen, then you might need to do some herbs and stuff to help with reducing those hormones. If it's something going on in your gut, you probably need to do something like probiotics, omega, digestive enzymes, and that kind of stuff to help with your gastrointestinal health. So, um, what else? And also, blood sugar issues can cause acne as well. So, if you have insulin resistance, that's another thing. So, anything that's going to be like inflammatory in the body can lead to acne. Butter chicken. I don't know about that one, but you mean to tell me what you eat has an impact on your gut enzymes? Yeah, what you eat can have an impact on your gut enzymes. So there are actually are foods that are high in enzymes that can help your body digest things better. So things like papaya and kiwi, those are two really good ones that have natural digestive enzymes. If you eat like a lot of very heavy, greasy, fried foods, it's going to be harder for your body to digest those. So, yeah, great question. Okay, so I just seen some people jump on. So, hi and welcome. I'm Dr. Amanda. I'm a naturopathic doctor. I host this live health Q&A to answer any health questions that you have. So, feel free to drop your questions in the chat. Thank you so much for the likes and for the subscribes. I appreciate it. It does really help get this video noticed across YouTube. And if you are new here, be sure to join our community. So go and subscribe, turn on notifications so you get notified when I go live. I was talking a little bit about sleep and some sleep tips. So I can kind of recap that. But we were also just getting some questions, a lot of questions about GERD and any other health questions. So just feel free to drop in the chat. Okay, so what else did I want to talk about? Sleep. I think we talked about GABA. We talked about melatonin, magnesium, and then the herbs I was talking about. Lavender. Lavender is a great herb. If you're somebody that's very anxious, stressed, lavender is a really good herb. You can take lavender in a soft gel. So that's like an oil-based capsule, and you can take this throughout the day. It doesn't have to be in the evening. It's good to take in the evening for sleep, but if you're somebody that has anxiety during the day, it can be really beneficial. Lavender is a great herb, very calming. If you don't want to take it orally or internally, you could even use like lavender essential oil in your room to help you sleep as well. So, you're a doctor in what? Oh, a naturopathic doctor. Yeah. So naturopathy, which is like holistic medicine. viewing the whole body as one, trying to connect all the systems, trying to figure out root cause symptoms. And then treatments are things like diet, supplements, herbs, vitamins, minerals. We do medications as well if it's needed. So papaya kiwi shake should run through the digestive system life. Yes. Yeah. Kiwi is actually really good for constipation. Like there's a lot of studies on just having like if you have constipation and you eat like 2 kiwis a day can be really helpful for constipation. Um, yeah, if anybody has constipation, I do also have a video on that on foods for constipation. And I talked about kiwi, avocado, and some other stuff as well. But yeah, fruits are really good. You know, there's a lot of talk I see on social media about like fruits being bad and harmful because they're sugar. Like, yes, they do have sugar in them, but they also have so many vitamins and minerals, and you're getting sugar from, you know, a whole food source. You're not just having table sugar that's in the cookie or something like that. Fruits have fiber, they have vitamins, they have minerals, and yes, they have carbohydrates and sugar. But if you're, eating fruits along with, let's say, some nuts or seeds, or you're having it with piece of cheese or something that is going to be have protein and fats, and it's going to help balance that sugar that you're having in the fruits. So I never recommend like avoiding fruits. I think they're very beneficial. They have so many nutrients in them. We probably don't eat enough fruits in America. So yeah. Any tips on how to find good ripe kiwi? I usually just try to feel it as long as it's not like super squishy or too hard, just lightly soft. I find that's the best, and just a light brown color. But I don't know if anybody has question. Yeah, if anybody knows how to find a good ripe kiwi, let me know. And fruits and steak, yeah, have fruits with steak, sure. Eating junk food, street food for the last 1 year every day. I'm a student, so now how can I detox my lifestyle and get back to a healthy lifestyle? Yeah, so I mean, it's good that you're ready, like you're thinking about it, you know that you want to start a healthy lifestyle. So in terms of your diet, the best thing would be is trying to eliminate the junk food and the street food, going for whole homemade meals. So whether that be you need to go to the grocery store and buy a blend of like grains, meats, vegetables, fruit, and cook yourself homemade meals would be the best thing that you could do. If you have to eat out at a restaurant or a fast food place, try to choose healthier options. So things that are not deep fried and things that are not very heavy and greasy. So things like salads, veggies, and meat, that's going to be the best thing in terms of your diet. But then if you wanted to do herbs and stuff to also help, dandelion root tea is a really good herb. And nettle tea is another good one. And then fennel tea, those are going to be the top ones to help with supporting your body's digestion, your liver, which is important for detoxification. So those would be my top tips for that. Try a fast. I mean, you could try a fast, even doing intermittent fasting. But even if you're going to be fasting, you still like once you're done the fast, then you still need to have a healthy diet. So fasting can help short term, but for long term maintenance, you want to make sure you're having a good, healthy diet, whole foods diet, limit in sugar, limit in processed food. All right. What else do I want to talk about? Okay, if anybody's just joining us, hi and welcome. I'm Dr. Amanda. I am a naturopathic doctor. I host this live health Q&A to answer any health questions you have. So thank you so much for the likes and for subscribing and joining our health community. If you have any questions about sleep, I was talking a little bit about that, but if there's anything else that you were curious in, we had a lot of questions about GERD. So if there's any other questions, just let me know and I'll be able to answer them for you. What else did I want to talk about? I think that was it for sleep. There's another one. Oh, some people are saying hi, welcome. Thanks for joining us. Let me know if you have any health questions. Um, L-theanine can be helpful for sleep. Now, it doesn't make you sleepy, but it's really good for again, kind of calming the nervous system. So theanine is an amino acid. You'll find this one in green tea as well. So I don't know if you ever like drank green tea and it helps you feel a little bit calm, or like the word zen, like people say they drink green tea and they feel very zened out. That's usually due to the L-theanine in there. So that's a amino acid that's really good for the nervous system, for calming the nervous system down. So L-theanine, that's another one. There's a lot of I was kind of talking about blends of different supplements out there. There's a lot that will have a combination of some of these things I mentioned tonight. So magnesium, melatonin, GABA. What else? The herbs I was talking about, lavender, maybe passion flower. Like these are very common to be mixed in a supplement. What's the one? I'm just trying to think of the name. Oh, it's called Insomnitol. It's by Designs for Health. It comes in capsules and tablets. The capsules one has a lot of the herbs in there. The tablets just doesn't have the herbs, but that's a really good one. Insomnitol by Designs for Health. And then there's the I just recently saw the chewable ones by the Brain MD. The sleep chewables. I think it has a combination of those. So again, like maybe you need to do a combination of these remedies to help you fall asleep or stay asleep. But one thing I talked about at the beginning, if you're just joining us and you're interested in sleep, it's really important to have proper sleep tips, sleep hygiene. So going to bed at the same time every night, waking up at the same time every morning, making sure you're avoiding screens and electronics about half an hour to an hour before bed, because that interferes with your body's melatonin. You want your body to be really relaxed and really calm. So those are just some things to keep in mind. And then magnesium, I talked about magnesium. The glycinate form is really good for restlessness and just helping your body and your muscles feel really relaxed. GABA, melatonin, all of these things can be really helpful. So, okay, if there's anybody else that has any questions, please drop them in the chat. Let me know. Again, I'm open to answering other health questions. It doesn't have to just be about sleep. We talked a lot about sleep tonight, but any other questions, just let me know in the chat, and I'll be able to answer them for you. I'm just going to hang around a little bit longer to answer any questions. Reading a book usually puts me to sleep. Yeah, so that's something I talked about before. So how reading a book can help, just help you feel calm, relaxed. Maybe getting a book that's not too like something that keeps you on edge. So maybe not like a mystery or a thriller. Maybe something a bit more relaxing. That can help you fall asleep easily. Recently started taking wild brine sauerkraut. So sauerkraut is going to be one of those foods that is high in probiotics, so natural probiotics. So the benefits of that, it can help with your gut bacteria, so your good gut bacteria. Sauerkraut, kimchi, yogurt, those are all sources of probiotic food. So yeah, I mean, there are good benefits to that. It's a great way to get probiotics through your diet. So probiotics, you can take them in capsules and supplement form, but usually getting it through your diet is going to be best. That way you don't have to take a supplement. You can just have a good balanced diet. So yeah, great question. All right. Let's see if there's any other questions. Just anybody else, let me know. I'm going to hang out for a few more minutes. Thank you so much for joining, and for subscribing and for liking the video. I really do appreciate it. I appreciate all the questions. Make sure you do subscribe and turn on notifications if you haven't done so already. That way you get notified when I go live again. I usually try to go live in the evening a few times a week. So yeah, be sure to subscribe. All right. Hi, thank you for joining us. If you have any health questions, just feel free to drop them in the chat. I'm going to be signing off soon. I don't know what that emoji is. Trio, spiral. Oh, spirulina. So the green, yeah, so that can also help with, that's more for helping with antioxidant health, yeah, vitamins and minerals. But yeah, that's usually a supplement. You can also get it in a powder as well. All right. All right. Well, let me know if there's any other questions. I'm here to open them, answer them. But if not, I will definitely answer them next time. You can always join us next time. And I talked to a lot of people that were asking about GERD. If you have GERD or acid reflux, go check out my series on my YouTube channel. It has a lot of information on there. Yeah, so that's it. I'm gonna sign off for now. Thank you everybody for joining us, and I will see you all in our next chat. Take care. Bye.